Well, hello there. Come on in. I'm Chris Brown. I'm your humble chimney sweep. I was just going over your chimney inspection report, but now that you're here, make yourself comfortable. Let's go over it together, shall we? Okay, now let's take a look at the inspection report and see how it reads out. This is a generic report. This is exactly what you will get, only your information obviously will be filled into all these blanks. The upper right-hand corner of the report is the legend. Each one of these initials pertain to something. A is consistent with the age of the chimney. B, see comments below. C, repairs needed. D, need further evaluation. Or E, not applicable. And they're placed into the boxes next to the parts of the chimney that can be easily identified in this diagram. And then, of course, you'll find my comments here below. Now, let's take a look at your personal report. So stay with me. Hey, Vivian, we went out today and were able to go ahead and inspect the chimney for you at the Old Monroe Road house. What a beautiful house, by the way. Great location for your buyers. Let's go up on top. So originally there was another top or lid on the top of this cap here, and that was to let the smoke out. But we couldn't get any camera equipment down in there, so he went ahead and cut it off. These screws, there was four screws or bolts holding it on, and he went ahead and cut them off. And so we have access. And this whole area right here, just underneath that lid, was just full of squirrels' nests, because there's no screen around it or anything. And so when you live kind of in the country there, so you can imagine squirrels would get in there. So we weren't able to properly inspect it for you. So this time around, we went ahead and scanned it. While we're up here, though, let's take a look. There's two other flues, furnace flue. I'm not sure what the other flue was designed for, but there's some minor cracks up here in the crown. That should be caulked just to keep the water out of the chimney. Once we were able to now go ahead and scan the chimney, these are all views from a flue scanning system that we use, and all chimney sweeps use, by the way. And we're scanning the flue and scanning the flue. And you can actually see the beginning of this stainless steel direct connect. This stainless steel direct connect comes straight off the wood stove and goes up into the flue system itself. Now, I looked at the wood stove application the other day, Monday, when I was out. I didn't take any notes. I took some pictures, but I went in and deleted them because I wasn't sure what we were doing with them, and we needed to move on. One thing I do remember was that fireplace is either a standard 3630, but it looks really like a even larger and oversized fireplace. Let's take a look at our notes here. It really looks like a 4232 fireplace. What that means is the mouth of the fireplace, in other words, the opening where you would put your wood in and stuff, is approximately 42 inches by 32 inches, and the flue size to accommodate that size of an opening needs to be a minimum of a 13 by 18 flue. And the reason for that is you have all this air coming in the mouth of that fireplace. It would get choked up trying to go up that small chimney, that small 8 by 13 flue that's in there now. So taking the stove out, as we talked about yesterday, and I thought that was good advice to go ahead and go back to using it as an open fireplace. Well, at that time, I hadn't had a chance to look at the flue, and I didn't know what the flue size was. And I assumed that it was up to code, that it met the size of the fireplace now, so that you could do that. But you're not going to be able to do that. If the stove was removed and you tried to start a fire in there, you would just smoke up your house. The flue in there was designed for a much smaller opening, really a 28 by 24 is the maximum that flue system, the flue system that's in there now, can accommodate. So using it as an open fireplace is not in the cards for you. It's possible now that you could go back through and put a larger flue system in, but it's likely when you're talking about, and let's go back up to a clay liner system, this might be a better shot, that this is all concrete all the way up and down around that flue. So removing the old flue system will still leave you not enough room, would not give you enough room to drop a bigger liner down. So all that being said, and I don't want to confuse you folks, all that being said is that the way the wood stove is attached appears to be safe, to be honest with you, or relatively safe. It's direct connected in here. This guy has used this chimney. That's why the creosote buildup in here. And it appears like it's going to operate correctly for you. You want to make sure that there's a minimum of 18 inches of clearance. That means space all the way around that fireplace and in front of the fireplace for wood burning, for that wood stove. So nothing, no mantle, nothing combustible around that stove or in front of it within, that can be within 18 inches of it. So it has to be further away than 18 inches. So I hope that's not confusing to you. If it is, give me a call about any of this. This is a very interesting scenario when you have this type of a wood stove that is direct connected or sealed in, and then you had a top up here that was permanently affixed up here. We can't go around cutting people's caps lids off and stuff. You know what I mean, to inspect them. So I'm glad the homeowner was willing to do that and did do that for us and removed all the debris that was in here from that squirrel. So it is what it is. You're going to need to continue using that wood stove in this application in order to have any success with this fireplace at all. If you pull the stove out, I will absolutely guarantee you cannot use it as safely as an open fireplace. It will just smoke up your house terribly. So that's where we stand. Some of the codes that I attached here, let's go back and take a look. If anyone needs any clarification about the direct ratio between the flue size and the firebox opening size, North Carolina Residential Codes Chapter 10 will enlighten anybody on that. The other thing is, when you see the hearth extension, that's the hearth that extends into the room. For the size of the mouth of that fireplace would need to be a minimum of 20 inches into the room, and it doesn't protrude 20 inches into the room. So all of that leads to tell me that the original fireplace in that house was a much smaller fireplace than what's there now. It can't be any other way, or it wouldn't have passed the minimum code requirements in order for the original homeowner to get a certificate of occupancy. So unless, anything is possible unless the building inspector just signed off on it without looking at it. So I guess that's always a possibility. But anyway, you have that wood stove. It's a beautiful wood stove. It's going to operate fine for you. This little icon kind of gives you an idea of how that is connected in there. It just sits in here like this. It's connected up. The smoke just goes up the chimney. So call me with questions. I expect that. 704-526-6348. You can email me at chris@affordablesuite.com. Thanks.